What we know regarding education gaps is that prolonged school closures have a disproportionate impact on student populations. Writer Owen Jones recently shared that COVID-19 is not some grand leveler, it's an amplifier of existing inequalities, injustices, and insecurities. And that is what we need to be prepared to deal with when opening schools in fall of this year. The Northwest Evaluation Association, NWEA, released a brief regarding summer learning loss and how a review of summer learning loss data could provide an indication of the impact school closures will have on student achievement and education gaps. Their research indicated that students in reading would return with roughly only 70% of learning gains relative to a typical school year. In math, students were likely to show much smaller learning gains, returning with less than 50% of those gains. And in some grades, students will return nearly a full year behind in math. So what we are planning for in the fall is the realization that student academic growth in reading last year, where we usually look for 10 months or more of growth in a 10-month school year, student data may indicate only 6 to 7 months of academic growth in reading. And unfortunately for math, we're going to see only 2 to 5 months of academic growth. With this information, we can begin to surmise and plan for student grouping and possible curriculum impact, curriculum pacing impact come fall. So what do we do? What do we do with this information? Departments of education in Florida and Virginia remind us of the impact of reading and math on the quality of life. And they're driving their states, their schools in their states to focus on reading and math as a priority. And they're encouraging schools to prepare to continue to use assessment data, screening data, formative assessments, progress monitoring data, using this data to target students at their instructional level and accelerate learning. So as far as taking steps, first, we have to dig into our current academic data on students. Do we have reliable winter data? Do we have any reliable spring data prior to closure? Can we align that data with the last known levels of intervention students were receiving before schools closed? From there, we can begin to group students based on the closest instructional need that we can identify. That provides some sense of class roster and can impact scheduling and assignment for schools. Then, when students return, we have to step back into best practices and prepare for screening assessments, regrouping, and we need to be prepared to adjust placements based on student need. If we carefully group students based on the instructional needs we identify, we'll be able to begin an accelerated learning process as fast as possible. That leaves us with the reminder and moving forward, right? Regardless of the phase we are in, whether we're in school, hybrid, or online, we have to adhere to the simple framework of being driven by data. Data leads to understanding. Understanding leads to meaningful action. And that starts the process again. Once we take action, we start to collect data again. Thank you for joining me and Rana Systems Incorporated.